And then joining us, not as per usual, no one else. We don't have a battler's bench. No one wants to play with us. We're all alone. We're shit at what we do. No friends, no big fat Darsh. Couldn't get Klutzy. Gorko is going to come, but then he pulled out. Marto couldn't be here. No Sione, no Tino, no Johnny, no friends. Man, we are scraping the barrel here, and we are on fire. But
you got to look at it the other way, J-Ball. An opportunity missed for all of those other guys.
Losers, man.
Yeah, losers.
Losers,
when we're flying high.
Yeah, man.
You know,
living off that sweet PAC show money.
Yeah.
Living high on the hog.
You never forget these things quickly.
That's very true. All right. Beep, 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 beep. That's the ticker. That's right. It's PAC news time. So, breaking news, apparently, I got stitched up so hard. I'm going to call it out. So, I was told that Freeney had been given the call from Shane Arnold to go over and play front row for Jeeps after retiring 2 or 3 times in the last 2 seasons. Dow stitched me up, I think, because I still don't know, is it legit or is it not legit?
Mate,
What is happening?
I can confirm it's legit.
It is legit.
Shane got on the phone to him, said, we need you back. We need you a part of this squad for 2022. You know, can you give us 1 more year? And he's obliged, even though he's as big as a house, completely unfit, and trying to lose some weight for his mate's wedding. He's ready and raring to go. And tonight he's down there at Yoku Road.
What?
He's got some 18-inch studs.
I think I can hear him breathing from here.
Is that what that was? I thought it was the train track rumbling past us. Is he really? I still don't know if it's true. I'm going to go with it, man, because that is loose if so. That is so hectic, and I can't believe the Jeeps haven't even kicked a ball off this season, and they already need front row stocks.
Yep.
Because
I still think it's a publicity stunt. Freens hasn't had enough attention the last 2 or 3 years.
True.
Yeah, he's coming back. He wants people to talk about him.
Right.
You know? He's on the PAC show now. People are seeing him. He wants his name out there in lights.
It's like those.
Yeah. So I'm calling bullshit, but we'll find out on Monday.
Yeah, those old retired boxers that are like punch drunk and they've blown all their money on tigers and cocaine and shit, and they're like, need a bit of money to pay like their 7 kids to 8 women or whatever. Does that work? No, it doesn't. 8 kids to 7 women. Oh man, I shit the bed. I am way off tonight. But if that is true, that is hectic, and the QPR season is done with already. It's a disgrace. All right, let's go on to our next one then. This is a big one for mine. Fergus Lee Warner has signed to the Worcester Warriors. Ire Simone to Clermont. Something I wanted to discuss last week, because Fergus Lee Warner actually said in an article, I think with rugby.com.au, saying that he feels like he hasn't had enough communication from the Wallabies coaches as to his direction to get into a gold jersey, DOS. And I think we were talking about it last week, the fact that, you know, if there is clear communication, you can sort of change things up. I mean, this is a bloke who is now going overseas because he feels like he hasn't been communicated to well enough.
Yeah. I mean, in any workplace, J-Ball, communication is key. If that was the case, it is disappointing. We spoke on Monday about our bolters in the Wallaby squad, and Fergus Lee Warner was a close second on my list to Alex Murphy. That obviously won't be happening now, but, you know, it's a blow for Australian rugby, especially as, you know, he's 27, 28 years old now. He's coming into those battle-hardened years where, you know, he could slip straight into... you see so much these days, guys coming into Test rugby, probably a bit too young, and it's like, oh, let's persist, you know, they'll come good. Whereas Fergus Lee Warner, I can see him just slipping straight in, not missing a beat, you know, looking like a 50, 100 Test cap player straight from game one. An opportunity missed for Rugby Australia, but I can definitely, from his perspective, see why he would have done it, and a brilliant pickup for Worcester.
Mate, he's already come good. Like, he has. He's already come good.
That's exactly right.
I got to stop saying come good. Sounds so hectic. Speaking of coming good, no, but Ire Simone, Dow. So this is an interesting one because he played a couple years ago for the Wallabies, I think a couple of tests. And that means that with his Samoan heritage, I think it is, he would be eligible for Samoa, I think at the back end of next year, if not at least 2024. So he'll probably miss next year's World Cup. But as a bloke in his mid-20s, he potentially can make a shitload of cash in Clermont whilst being able to represent his sort of heritage home, which is obviously Samoa,
land, yep.
at one, if not two World Cups. Surely that's got to be a big, big reason as to why he's done what he's done.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's put himself in a very strong position for that to happen. Obviously, he's got a fair bit of competition, the likes of Sami Karevi and Hunter Paisami and Lalakai Feketi here. So, you know, he probably saw that and thought, well, I've got an opportunity to go over there, make some good money, live in a different country, have a different life experience. But at the back end of that, also put himself in a frame to represent his home country.
Yeah, that's it though, right? I mean, there's several ways to skin a cat. And can we skin this cat by way of saying that maybe this is evidence of the competition in Australia, Dos? Kenya, like, you touched on it, Dal. There's Hunter Paisami, there's Lalakai Feketi, there's, Matt Tuamua is still in the mix. There's all these other centres that could be there. Same with Fergus Lee Warner. I mean, it sucks to see them go, but Dos, is it a good sign for Aussie rugby that maybe we can let some guys that may be surplus to requirements at their level go?
Look, I think there's arguments to both
Is
sides.
that shit chat?
That's
That's shit chat.
There's both
That's
sides.
real shit
I
chat.
mean, you know, I don't think.
If Friends was here, man, he would call me out on that. So that's Freeney's fault.
Yeah, look, I just don't think Australian rugby are in a spot where they can say, oh, we've got a surplus of talent. Let's let
Couple of injuries and we're
let's
shit
let
the
the
bed
likes of Fergus Lee Warner and Ire leave. But and Dal, correct me if I'm wrong. With contracting in Europe, do the teams, you know, there's like tiered, right? You've got your Wallabies, your All Blacks in tier 1, and you can only have a certain amount of them in your 23, or is that still the case? Yeah. So if Ire went and qualified for Samoa, he removes himself from that pool and makes himself a more attractive option for the European clubs. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. So that may have played into his decisions, as well as
good insight,
as well as obviously playing for his native land, which is a huge opportunity. And as Dal mentioned before, the competition in the centres is it's pretty hot at the moment. So yeah, I would have loved him to stay because, you know, when Ire's on, he is on.
He's good.
He's so skillful, mate. He's got, you know, all the skills in the book. But yeah, you know, I never mock anyone for, you know, taking these opportunities, and you've got a brilliant opportunity as a young human to go see the world as a young man. And yeah, make the most of it.
So you're saying, Dal, that seeing as I haven't played for the Wallabies, I have a very attractive opportunity for a French club to sign me up.
Correct.
Theoretically, yes.
It's in the works.
On paper, yes.
Sick. This is going pretty well. Hell yeah, man. All right. I'm very excited for this next topic. All Blacks have slipped to third in the world. Suck it. Stick it up your ass. That's so good. So, number one, South Africa, obviously, and then France. France have moved up to number 2, quite rightly. And the All Blacks down to 3. I think Australia's gone up to 6 or 5 or something like that. I think 5 behind England at 4. So
I think 6 behind Ireland and England.
England and Ireland, that's what it is. But with that, is it such a stretch to say that France are the favourites for the World Cup next year?
In my opinion, wholeheartedly.
Yes.
I feel
but
like
they are notorious bed shitters.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's at home. You know, they've got the
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, that's so hectic. Yeah, go
Just
on.
those players coming through.
Correct.
Hey,
and DuPont, and you look at these type of guys
Tamak.
coming through. Yeah.
Yeah, Cameron Walkie. He's so filled.
Very, very exciting for them. And at home, I just feel like they've almost timed it perfectly. Do you know what I mean? You know, another 12 months before they're there, but they found some real success this year with the Six Nations, and then it's building really, really beautifully for them. I feel like if it's not them, it's a Northern Hemisphere team anyway.
Ooh, spicy meatball. As in who? Who do you reckon then?
I still like England, and I know at the moment they're struggling, but I just think
Dog-ass, man.
Eddie's a bit of a masterclass.
He's a weird unit.
He knows what he's doing, and I feel like he's going to have them ripping and tearing at the right time.
Yep. You know what I've always found? That because the Northern Hemisphere, each comp, in England, in France, in Ireland, there's always, every year, there's something to play for. You know, if you're in the top 6, or firstly, in the French competition, top 14, you're playing to get in that top 7 to play Heineken Cup. So there's always something to play for. Once you get to the top 6, then you're obviously playing off to win the comp. If you're in the bottom half of the table, you're playing to stay out of the relegation zone. And then if you're in the relegation zone, you're playing off to stay in the comp. So there's these players, they're always experiencing these high pressure, high stress situations in games. Whereas, in Super Rugby, historically, it's like, you lose your first few games, you can't win it, but the comp still rolls on. And there's nothing, you don't win or you don't lose. There's nothing really to play for, which is probably why historically you've seen a lot of young players getting blood, because there's nothing on the line. Whereas in Europe, these guys, they've always got something. There's battles within the big battle, and I think
they play a hell of a lot more football.
And they play a lot more footy, and I think just in terms of when you get to World Cups, when you get to these situations, they've been in a lot more of these high pressure situations than the Southern Hemisphere players, which I think comes into it a little bit. Obviously, New Zealand have very talented players as well as Australia and South Africa, but yeah, there's that mental side of the game that they cope with, or that they are exposed to a lot more.
Especially in the professional arena. It's a professional game now, so the more that these players have, like, games that literally there's so much more than just winning on the line, you know what I mean? Like, they are literally out there every single week, as you said, fighting for promotion, fighting against relegation, looking at this competition or this competition. Then there's the internationals, the Six Nations, then there's the autumn. Like, we literally have Super Rugby, then June Test window, then Rugby Championship, and that's 3 very distinct different comps. Whereas you said they've got their own, and they got the Premiership, then they got this and all this sort of stuff. So it's so much more a different environment, and especially considering the professional arena now, like, they are earning their keep, and you can understand why guys like Fergus Lee Warner and Ire Simone want to go over there, get a bit of that crust, man. Because there's shitloads of dough flying around. You guys have such sick inside, eh? Man, it's just so different when it was just me and other fat loser battlers, eh? Speaking of promotion relegation, this isn't in the run sheet. Did you see that Ealing, I don't know what Ealing, some shit. Yeah. So they won the championship 3 days or whatever recently, but they've been nixed as being promoted because to go into the Premiership, you have to have a stadium of 10,001 plus seats, and they've got a 4,000 seater. They're appealing it, and it's a stitch up. So a small local team has busted their ass to make it to the Premiership, and then rug pull straight out of that, man.
That's massive.
That's hectic.
That's huge because they've worked so hard over the last 4 years, putting together a squad. They've got a fair backer behind them, and they have just been, this is our goal, this is what we want to get to. So it's great to see them do that, but they will be absolutely devastating.
And people are talking about, look at what's happening with Bath. They have backers, and they've spent all this money to get there, but they even said, well, as part of their appeal, what if we put in a 3-year plan to increase the capacity? And but you're not there now, so we can't do it. And it's a bit of a stitch up. Because, what if a team can work their way through all these competitions to get there, just as they've done, and just because their facilities aren't as good, they get stitched up? What a ball ache that is, man. All right, now back to the Wallabies. The number 10 jersey. Yeah, what the hell, man? Is that up for grabs, Dos?
Oh, yeah, well and truly. I mean, there's, in my opinion, 2 clear front runners.
Me and someone else, I assume.
Yeah, you and Freens were you guys were close runner-ups. But no, in my opinion, James O'Connor and QC. I think QC comes back into the squad.
So you're saying Ben Donaldson and Noah Lolosiu?
I'm not saying out of the squad. I'm saying they're in the squad.
Nah, get out of here.
And they are every day learning of how these 2 guys operate.
Yeah.
Both brilliant. And the young Waratahs 10 who's been playing the last couple of years, Tane Edmond, has impressed me as well.
He's really good.
Ginger Ninja.
So just going on from when Ben Donaldson comes back, it's like, what do you do there? Because I think Tane's been brilliant. I mean, personally, you probably bring Ben Donaldson in because he was playing really well and potentially move Tane to fullback. I think New South Wales haven't settled on a 15 yet, and that combination could work quite well. But anyway, I think Quaid and Rabs are the clear front runners. I just think on the back of what Quaid did last year.
Yeah, man, look. I can guarantee you that everyone in this room right now has probably spoken ill of Quaid in regards to he's done some stuff on the field where you go, shit, and all this sort of stuff, because that's what you can get with him, rocks and diamonds on occasion.
What you did get with him.
But typically more diamonds than you do rocks. But at the same token, last year there was this big question mark because, everybody seems like a changed man and all this shit. But he came out and just torched it.
Yep.
Was unbelievable. And you could see it's the same as James O'Connor. They've had to eat a mile of shit just to come through the other side. And you can see they're different players now. They're way more mature. And that makes such a huge difference. So, I don't know, you've got two guys who literally came up together, Dow, who, according to DOS, are our two front runners. So if you had to split the difference between those two, who are you going?
It's hard. That's really hard.
That's a tough question.
It's a really tough question.
I ask the hard-hitting questions here, man.
It's interesting because we watch James every week here, and we don't get to watch Quaid, and Quaid's over there playing in a,
He's doing some loose shit, man.
Yeah.
The highlights coming out of there with him, man, are nuts.
Exactly. But then you watch him at a test level like last year, it's incredible what he does. And what both of these guys now have is one, experience. Mm-hmm. So obviously this is why they're the front runners. And when you get to that age, because they've been doing it for so long, everything starts to become a bit slow motion for them. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It all slows down. They know where they're going. They understand what they're doing. Yep. And they're directing players in and around them, around the park. And so that's what you need. It's that control at that next level, which is the most vital cog in everything they're doing. So when to kick, when to pass, when to exit, all that kind of stuff that comes with it. And that's what we need as Australians leading into World Cup. Yep. So keep Ben Donaldson, keep Will Harrison, keep Tane Edmed, Rajan Pasatoa, Noah Lesio, all these young kids coming through. Keep them there and keep them learning and growing. But these are the guys to take us forward because we need experience. We need people who are going to head down, bum up, and get us around the park.
Have you had media training with Scott Morrison, have you? Because that was the most political answer ever. I asked you, who do you pick, Quade Cooper or James O'Connor? And you went on a huge diatribe and didn't even mention anything as to who you would choose. What the hell, man? That was ridiculous. That was brilliant, though. Very insightful, but bullshit.
For the
who
record,
are you picking, Quade Cooper or James O'Connor?
For the record, I'm picking QC.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm picking James.
Oof.
Yeah. Churchy, nudgy, standard.
That's so true. Funny that there's no Brisbane Grammar Boys in there. Stephen Moore, bring him back. Oh, God, how pathetic am I? All right, last one is the women's game. So the announcement, finally, after 2 years, 2 long, excruciating seasons of cancelled women's Wallaroos footy, we finally have some Wallaroos footy to be played next month between the Wallaroos, Japan, and Fijiana. We were discussing last week how Fijiana are literally an international standard side. That game, when you've got the players out of the other 4 or 5 or whatever it is, Super Rugby women's sides, going against the Fijiana, who I think are going to run away with it pretty handsomely. That could be an absolute, that'll be a pretty dire affair. They'll be looking to snot the living shit out of each other because there'll be some bad blood considering Fijiana are probably going to run a train on everyone there. Dow, that one right there in particular for mine is going to be a corker.
I think it's outstanding. I mean, wonderful that we have international rugby back for the Wallaroos. It's fantastic. But as you said, getting beaten up every week by the Fijiana, there's going to be a few players in each team all coming together to launch a bit of an attack.
Man.
Chance to
counterpunch.
It's going
to be very,
Dude,
very,
it'll
very
be
exciting.
so sick. It'll be so sick. But Fijiana as well, I think that this has just been so massive for the women's game that, look, we've seen the Super W sides playing the last few years, but injecting Fijiana into it has literally reinvigorated the competition. I think because, I can't even put my, finger on it as to why that is. I mean, we all know that Fiji rugby supporters will come from anywhere, go to anywhere to watch them play, but, man, the Fijiana side play such awesome footy, and it has literally lit a fire under that competition. And exciting times as well. Rugby Australia has announced that they're eyeing off a pro plan for the Wallaroos and Super W with a 3-year Women's Rugby World Cup cycle for 2025. We were talking about it last week. we've gotten in a bit of shit previously through PAC for hounding certain institutions for not paying their female players. But finally, there's what looks like a plan to pay these girls, and it is so well deserved, Dos.
Yeah, I mean, very well deserved, long overdue.
Oh,
It's,
yeah, man.
it's great to that they finally got something to aim towards, to play for. I think going back to the Fijiana coming into the comp, obviously bringing that Fijian flair to the women's comp, and I think what it'll do is it'll force the other Super W teams to accelerate their game twofold, to be able to keep up. It's like, all right, let's look where we lost against Fiji. Where do we improve? How do we stop them? And then on the flip side, how do we attack to exploit their weaknesses? So it's only going to be good things for the game with this announcement as well. We talked on Monday about the NRLW, if it's going to cast this huge shadow over Super W. Hopefully things like that just keep our women's rugby game moving forward.
Yeah, at least if there's vision of a pathway, then we won't have that reversed Emma Tonegata I was talking about on Monday. All right, well, that rounds our PAC news. We need a little beep, 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 beep to get out of there.
That was good. You just
that
keep
was
that going.
good, eh?
Keep that going.
Just make a remix of that if you can, please, Zach. That'd be appreciated. But that rounds out PAC news for this week, for tonight, sorry. Now what we're going to do, before we get our Moana Pacifica players on, Tomasi Alacio and Naraya Formai. Oh, man, I'm struggling with that. We're going to throw it over. BJ Hartman from the Manly Marlins. He's joining us to run through everything that is Shoot Shield this weekend. Hey, BJ, how you going, brother?
Mate, I'm good. It's a bit wet down here, but we're okay.
Yeah, there's more flooding and shit going on, isn't there?
Mate, it just keeps coming. You wouldn't actually believe there's that much water in the sky, but hey, we're okay.
Mate, we went through it like a month or so ago, man. So, no, I feel you, bro. Sydney's a shithole anyway, man. Went to Sydney a month ago and got COVID. It's literally the only thing I can write home about that. But Shoot Shield footy is back on Stan, which is absolutely awesome. So we wanted to get you on here. Obviously, a 100-game superstar from the Manly Marlins himself. Host of the Short Side alongside Sam Lane. So if there's anybody who probably has their finger on the pulse when it comes to Shoot Shield rugby, it is BJ Hartman. So BJ, looking forward to this weekend's matches. We've got Southern Districts versus Gordon. We know Gordon, I guess technically, is still the reigning premiers from 2 or 3 years ago or whatever it is. Very handsome, good showing last weekend. Who are you picking and why for this one?
Oh, man, I think Gordon had a slow one on the weekend. They had Hunter. Hunter looked like a completely different side this year.
Yes.
They look very fresh. The highlights that you see coming through, there's some pretty heavy contact happening in there. I think, Billy Melrose at the helm. I'll probably go back to Gordon. I think they had a slow start, but yeah, Gordon will pull through with that one, I reckon.
Loose.
I'm keen to see what actually's on that. Keen to see how Hunter go this year. I think they're going to be causing some real carnage. I reckon they'll knock off a few top teams.
Hell yeah, man.
Don't sleep on Hunter.
Well, they only had a few point loss over the weekend. But speaking of the Wildfires, you've got Wildfires going down to Western Sydney to take on the Two Blues. Mate, you're talking about the Wildfires there. Big boys. The Western Sydney Two Blues are ginormous, mate.
Yeah, especially, mate, if this stays wet, that is going to be a tight, full impact game of footy. There's not going to be much running footy. It'll be blunt force trauma, I reckon. But I'm keen. Look, my heart's with Hunter. I want to see them do well. I want to see them disrupt this comp.
Well, they've really embraced their Pacifica roots as well. We saw during their preseason trials they were playing, I think, was it the Newcastle Tongan side in a relief match to raise some money for the Tongan relief. They've really embraced it. They've got Rob Puliovea, formerly of West, down there as their club captain and their first grade skipper. So they're really getting around the boys. And, mate, I'm with you on that one, BJ. I'm really excited to see how the Wildfires go this year.
Hey, Jable, can I just interrupt? BJ, sorry, mate. What would you put that down to? Like the Hunters' transformation from last year to this year. Is there anything we can put our finger on, or is it a couple of things?
I actually don't know if they've got the same coaches or not, but I probably wouldn't put it down to that. It looks like there's a lot of new personnel in jerseys.
Right.
And I heard through the off season that they were trying to not. It's a balancing act, right? Because they don't want to detract from their current, is it Central West or Central North competition that they've got up there. They don't want to pull players from other teams because that then sort of lowers the standard
Right.
of the local comp up there. So I know they were trying to pull players from outside of the local comp so that everyone kind of wins, kind of promote great players from the area, but also not to sort of leave other clubs sort of short. So there's from you look at the jerseys and you look at the players on the weekend. There's a lot of different faces to last year. I think, I think that's the biggest one.
Yeah, okay, it's exciting.
Mate, they recruited heavily the last couple seasons too, and it looks like whenever you do get a lot of that new personnel in, it does tend to
just
take a while.
a little bit. Yeah, it does.
You know what I mean? But they seem to be fizzing at the bunghole in all the right areas, BJ. This one, your boys, the Marlins, up against West Harbour.
Yep,
you guys got.
Oh, that's tough. That's tough. I will be back. I will be back in Manly. Manly had a tough one on the weekend. We boys played against South
and got smoked.
And had a red card in the first 4 minutes, I think, which wasn't ideal. And it wasn't. I don't think it was on camera, so I couldn't really see what happened. But he got off the red card, so I don't know what happened there.
Got a good lawyer.
Classic Manly dude, man. It's like, man, no, clearly nothing happened, no. So, come on, man. You can tell us.
There's nothing in it. Manly played, 75 minutes with 14 players and only lost by a bit. So they'll be fine this weekend. I'll back them. First home game at Manly as well. They're a bit of a memorial match for old Russell Mackey, Rusty, that used to run around in his red shorts. Bit of a memorial game, so kind of like a back to Manly game.
Yeah.
Emotions running high. I think local boys will be fine.
So you're backing the Marlins on that one, Gordon. Yeah. The Wildfires loose. What about this one? Sydney Uni versus Randwick. Sydney Uni were untouchable last year and then got a touch-up last week. How good was that? But looking forward to this one. The Wicks were awesome in their win, and Sydney Uni, they have lost a hell of a lot of players.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Randwick. Like it's their old school sort of stuff. The galloping greens and the running rugby is built into the green jersey and that kind of stuff. But it actually looks like it from the highlights from the weekend. So I'll back Randwick.
Loose.
Yeah. Big call. Uni is still uni. But Rats showed that you can beat them. Rats had. From, again, rumours, there was Harry Jones. Shout out to Harry Jones, who had a wedding on Saturday in rugby season and took a third of the team away.
Whoa, man.
Yeah, and they still did uni. They still did uni. Apparently, one of the wingers for Rats just had an absolute field day. So that's that was interesting. So hey,
if the Fijian bloke
semi-second Rats team can beat uni, I'm backing Randwick.
Rugged. So what is doing with Sydney Uni? Because they were saying there's 12 players have bounced out from there. 12 starters have bailed.
I
don't know. They everyone has a crack at uni about.
Yeah. Who knows and who cares,
Yeah, man.
As long as they're losing, everyone's happy.
Don't get me started, man.
That's the chat, isn't it? The whole everyone hates uni chat. But I mean, they love that chat, so it almost fuels their fire. So
yeah, I hate it so much.
I'm very cautious about throwing shade at uni because they'll bite back.
Yeah, but go get your own juniors, you dog ass. Man,
where's your pathway?
I hate them so much. I'm also a West boy, so I'm born to hate UQ, but. Say la vie, boys. Eastwood versus Eastern Suburbs, mate. What's going on here? What do you reckon? Who are you backing?
Interesting. Eastwood, it looks like it's a bit of that changing of the guard type thing happening at Eastwood. A lot of the old heads kind of aren't around anymore.
They lost Charlie Cale to the Brumbies and so on as well.
Yeah, so a couple of their stars kind of progressing through to higher honours. So it's tough. They had their tough one against I think it was Hunter in the trials. They had an interesting one against them. But yeah, I'd probably back Easts, I think, after their walloping from Norths on the weekend.
Oh mate.
You'd be backing East to bounce from that. getting
Mate.
pantsed.
That was a pantsing and a half, eh?
Yeah.
Norths are looking so
Norths are
good. And
great.
speaking of, you've got the Rats versus Norths. This has got to be match of the round when you really think about it. The two
Mate,
form
yeah.
sides from the first round.
That will be North's. Yeah, after watching them on Saturday, Norths have got to be my short favourite for overall like Shoot Shield champions this year. They it's a big call early, but like just I see what they're doing off the field as well. There's a lot of good cultural stuff going on. Like young fella debuted at 12 last week, and they had Billy Meeks ringing in from LA, an ex-North boy who wore the 12 jersey. He's been involved in Wallaby camps and whatnot. So getting him to ring in and like basically virtually present him his jersey was really cool stuff. Like, so what they're doing behind the scenes is really good. But like, I mean, you look at the on-field shit and they just destroyed East on the weekend. So, yeah. And I can't, morally, I just can't tip Warringah being a Manly boy.
Oh, yeah. I was like, going with Norths, huh? Oh, I forgot it was the Rats.
It's
yeah.
a moral thing. It's North by default on that one.
Oh, sick. All right. Just a quick question. I think Dale and Doss have got a couple questions for you, but I just want to get your opinion on this. Do you reckon Bill Meeks has the best lips in world rugby?
Huge.
Hands
Mate,
down.
They're lush.
Big Billy Kissy lips, mate. It's ridiculous, man. He looks like,
They are lush.
like a trophy bass with his big fish lips, man. It's ridiculous. And I reckon he has to moisturise them and he puts something on them, man, because they look
I think he does look after
ridiculous.
Yeah, I think he does look after them. They're all over his Instagram. I think he does. There's some self-care happening with the lips.
Yeah, man. He's a good-looking unit. Did I just suck the wind out of this show or what?
BJ, who's the best up and coming player who you think's going to come through in the next kind of 12 to 18 months down in Sydney?
And he can't say you.
Yeah, I mean,
is there anyone who stands out for you?
Is there? What's the opposite of up and coming? Down and deteriorating.
Yeah.
I think
Sad
that was me
and
for the last
depressed.
4 years. Up and coming in Sydney. Matt, I mentioned him. I've got to admit I don't know his name, but the winger for Rats on the weekend was so good to watch.
The Fijian bloke?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Vera
ball in
Malamu or
space.
something.
Yeah, ball in space. He was damaging. I think he's going to be great. There's one. Ben Maher's already been picked up.
Yeah.
He is a Rats boy, but he's playing with Aussie Sevens this weekend in
Mosese
Singapore.
Vera Malua.
Mate, he's going to be awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you know where he was last year? I have no idea. He might have been at the Rats last year, but this year, mate,
That's why we've got you, man.
Yeah. Can't say it made too much sense last year, but he was so impressive to watch. Like he's a damaging runner.
Almost scored the try of the
North
season in the
always
first
have
round, but
someone-
bombed that little chip chase too.
Yeah, not
Oh,
ideal.
mate.
Not ideal. Yeah, but he's my favourite so far.
Ooh. Keep your eyes peeled, man. That is so sick. Mate, he was an absolute gun on the weekend.
Yeah, so good.
Nothing, Doss? All right. I thought Doss might want to ask you a question, but he had the same question as me. It was about Bill Meeks. So
Yeah.
that's all good. Yeah. It's the word on everyone's lips, especially Billy Meeks.
You've still thrown me, mate. I can't. My
Watch
mind's
it,
just
man.
not
Every
working.
time you see Bill Meeks in anything now, you're going to be like, oh, man.
Yeah.
Look, you can admit when you see a good pair of lips, you wouldn't mind want to kiss them. Like, what?
When you're Jay, when you're comfortable in your own skin, you can recognise like strengths in other people. It's easy.
And want to be comfortable in his skin also. Yeah, man. Just got to be comfortable in your own skin. All right, BJ. Well, look, thanks very much for joining us, brother. Hopefully we can get you
No
on
problem,
again
mate.
soon, but you're going to be away for a few months, unfortunately. But moving forward, we're probably going to have your co-host, Sam Lane, from the Short Side podcast. How is the Short Side podcast going, mate? It's
Mate,
pretty
it's
good
good fun.
gas. It's
Yeah,
literally
mate, we
just
don't-
tales of you getting stitched up and getting dropped from the first grade side, eh?
Basically, it started. That's literally how it started. We just wanted to share some chit chat, and so many people actually sent in their own stories. So there's a few we've got in the bank that we'll share over the next few weeks. But hey, now the season's started, hopefully there's more stories of people getting dropped, and mate, it's good fun. We have a good laugh on a Monday night. We just chat shit,
Yeah.
and someone listens to it somewhere.
I do, man. It's so good, eh? It's so good, man. It's literally just the tales of BJ and his slow decline out of the Manly Marlins first grade side. Makes me feel so good about myself having never played top grade.
Hey,
either.
as long as someone else feels good about themselves, then I've done my job.
Damn straight.
That's
Bless
what
you,
it's all
BJ.
about.
Thanks for tuning in, brother.
Thanks so much, lads.
All the best, brother. We'll chat to you soon.
Enjoy. See you guys.
Thanks,
mate.
brother.
Thanks, BJ.
How good was that, BJ? Absolute legend, man. He's actually the GM of Budgie Smuggler as well. Probably should have told that before.
Oh, right.
As of all the things that is on his resume, that's probably
Yeah.
right up there. But yeah, man, Manly Marlins hero down there for the boys. Now let's kick straight over. We've got, as we said, as we preluded early on in the show, that we are going to be joined by two of the Moana Pacifica superstars, and we're joined now by Tomasi Alosio and Naraya Fumai. Lads, how you doing? Can you hear me? Yeah, there we go. Oh, boys, how you holding up? You've had 2 weeks of serious matches up against the Blues. Tomasi, yourself in particular, you copped an absolute bell ringer from Caleb Clark on the weekend. How's the body holding up?
Yeah, bro, I'll start. Yeah, not too bad. We've obviously gone through our first storm week and we're heading into our second storm week now. But yeah, on that game against the Blues, yeah, probably just an accident that that happened. Yeah, and obviously still just a few symptoms, but going through the protocols this week to hopefully start playing again soon.
Tomasi, Aiden Toa here. Mate, you probably couldn't have picked bigger legs in World Rugby to run into.
He doesn't have the smallest legs in the world, eh? Yeah. But yeah, nah, I think it's just just one of those accidents that happen in rugby, and just very unfortunate that I caught the end of it, and Caleb was involved too. So yeah, no hard feelings, but it's it's been dealt to, so just time to move on, and yeah.
It all happens in the heat of the battle.
Now, Naraya, you guys have been together, obviously, as a new team since, November, December last year. How's it coming together as a side? Obviously, getting that win a couple of weeks ago was massive, but culturally, obviously, it's been pretty special. What's it been like as a team these first couple of months?
Bro, it's been mean, eh? I think us being Islanders, me and Musa usually used to, just Samoan sort of culture, and it's been good to mix and mingle with the Tongan and then the Cook Islanders, and then got a few new Hawaiian boys in there as well. So just everyone bringing their flavour and their culture to what we have in our team is probably something special, and probably something a lot of the boys haven't experienced before, as well as the coaches. So, bro, it's been me, man, and that win a couple of weeks ago just felt like the cherry on top, and hopefully just many more of those experiences to come.
I'm sure there'll be a few more wins coming for you boys. That's great to hear, Naraya. You speak about the culture, and you can see, you guys are only a couple of months into this season as your first inaugural season in Super Rugby, and you in the New Zealand Conference, I might add, and you guys have just been so competitive from the very first minute up until now. I just want to ask a question. I spent a couple of years with my man Christian Lealifano down at the Brumbies. How we talk about the culture and how it can bring a team together. How has Brazzy been to Moana in the first few months?
Oh, bro, Christian's the man, eh? He's probably what sets that example of what Moana Pacifica culture should be like, and he just brings in a high standard of excellence, not only on the field but his off the field. He's real good at bringing the boys together. Energy. He's always there to remind us that when we're a bit down, he picks us back up. So he's been awesome, and you see him bounce back from what he went through. It's been awesome to have him, and I think he's been a real special part of our group.
Yeah, I bet. And he's always got time for, all members of the squad, which I loved about Brazzy. He was the captain of the Brumbies. He's in coaches' meetings, he's in planning meetings. He's always busy with something, but he's always got time for you personally. And he spreads his time out to everyone in the squad. So he was a huge pickup when it got announced, and I know him and Sekopi are doing a great job over there.
Nora, you got obviously a fair amount of experience playing rugby, but talk to us a little bit about Aaron Major and the influence that he has had on the group. Obviously, it's a tough job coming in and starting a team from scratch. What's he been doing? He been instilling in each individual player to get the most out of them?
Yeah, obviously, Aaron being an All Black and someone we used to watch when we were younger, you kind of get an awe of his presence in the team, and he brings a lot of what does he bring? Something special about, and he even said it himself that this team is probably something different that he's experienced before. He's invested in Aaron individually, and he talks about tautua, which means a bit of servicing each other, not just on the field but off. And he really encourages us and shows us with his actions as well. So just him being a leader and off the field just helps us to be able to help each other out a bit more off the field, and then on the field. Obviously, you want to build that culture, and he's done a great job at bringing the right leaders into the team. And yeah, so it's going well, man. He's a good coach. He likes to help us out when we need it. So yeah, it's been great.
Nora, I want to ask you a question. So every side has a little bit of a shit stirrer. They have someone who stirs the pot, niggles everyone. I think with the Reds, you can see it's Tene Latupa. I think Rob Leota down in the Rebels tends to niggle blokes a little bit. I've heard that you're a bit of a character yourself. Who in Moana Pacifica is the biggest shit stirrer? And be honest. If it is you, you can say it's you.
We got a couple, bro. Yeah, probably would have to be Levi.
Moore.
The centre?
Yeah, he's a grammar boy. Went to my school, yep.
Yeah. You know, the one with the bowl cut?
Yeah.
He gets a bowl cut specifically to show the eagle at the back of his head. The next time you see him play, you just look at the eagle and just give it a slap, bro. Nah. So it'll probably be Levi. Who else? This guy over here. Don't listen to what he's saying, bro. He's a liar.
Yeah, I saw you try and shy away there, Marcy. Nice try, brother.
Levi will probably be the one, bro.
Well, we were just touching on it before with Aaron Major. I mean, a massively experienced campaigner with the Satyrs, with the All Blacks, and he's got a great coaching pedigree. But you guys, as a squad, I mean, we were talking about Christian Lele Afana, but you got Sikopi Kepu, Henry Timmy Stowers. Like, these are guys with massive experience that surely, with some of those younger guys, it's just got to be bringing them along so well for that Moana Pacifica side.
Yep. Yeah. Nah. As you said, like the likes of having Kips and Christian, just world class players. Over 100 tests for the Wallabies and over 100 Super Rugby caps too. So to have those guys lead us has been awesome, especially for the young guys. And we've got a few like 20, 21-year-olds in there. So it's been awesome just to kind of have that leadership, set the example, and also a pathway just for these young guys to come through. And it's been awesome. Like they talk about 26 years in the making, this Moana side, and those that paved the way for this side to happen. It's been awesome. So hopefully, in the long run, it's a real good pathway for Pacific Islanders who choose to go down that Super Rugby path, and just obviously creates more opportunities being another Super Rugby team here in New Zealand.
I want to get your thoughts on this because I watched that win you guys had against the Canes live, and when Denny Tawala put that kick in, I went bug. Mate, I flipped out. That was my nice way of saying it. I lost my shit. I can only imagine what that meant for you guys when he put that on the toe, chased hard, and got that try to secure the dub. That would have been magical for you guys.
Yeah, bro. In that moment, I think it was probably lucky that he kicked it because about half the backs were cramping up. Trying to get to him in that kick. Bro, but yeah, those are like moments that you sort of dream of. And for us, this year, you know, we were searching for wins, but we were just searching to sort of make our people proud and our families proud. So that win sort of came not when we least expected it, but sooner than we thought. But we always had that belief, and we go into every game with the belief of winning. But yeah, so for us, it was just making our families and our people proud, and just going out every week, and no matter what the result, we're just going out there and doing the best we can. So yeah, man, that feeling was special. Yeah, it was hard to explain, bro. Like we were cheering for about 5 minutes after the game, and we forgot that we were tired, man. We ended up getting dry horrors, bro, after cheering. So it was awesome, man. So hopefully, yeah, get a few more of those experiences and wins this season.
Mate, I can't help but agree. Look, as you said, no matter the result, no matter what happens from here on out for the rest of the season, you guys have done your nation, your club, your family, everyone proud. It's been absolutely awesome to have you guys into the competition, and all the best for the rest of the season.
Cheers, bro.
Thanks,
Thanks for
lads.
having us, man.
Cheers, lads.
Thanks,
Thanks,
fellas.
boys.
How good was that? How good was that?
Yeah.
Man, that was so good, man. We
Brilliant.
got two dudes from Moana Pacifica on our
Brilliant,
show.
yeah.
That's nuts.
It was brilliant, and it was great to hear there, Jay Bora, about Namaya speaking about, you know, when you're playing for something that's bigger than the game, the results just tend to take care of themselves. Like they weren't expecting that win against the Canes a couple of weeks ago, but as he sort of mentioned, you know, they're playing for their families, they're playing for their people, and yeah, it's powerful, man. When there's something bigger than the game, the results, you know, and you don't invest as much in the results, they seem to just naturally take care of themselves.
Hell yeah, man. I agree.
And I think the big word there is powerful. And I think this is what a lot of people probably don't see. And it was great to have that insight from these guys. And the Drew are experiencing the same thing at the moment as well. So obviously they're getting a win this year. But it's that power that it brings to their people that's pretty bloody special.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, that's what I was saying. Like, I lost my shit when I saw that try. But then, like, oh, man, I'm literally getting goosebumps. Because you could see how much it meant to
Yeah.
him, man. Like, it was absolutely immense. And I touched on it before. Like, Fijian, you know, rugby followers will go to anywhere to watch a game of footy. And they'll be the loudest and most happy and boisterous people there. Same with, you know, Samoans, Tongans, Cook Islands, whatever it may be. They absolutely love it. And I can't wait to see what Moana Pacifica and the Fijian Drua do, because they've already shown they're up to it. Wait until they start firing on all cylinders, man, and they're going to be absolutely amazing. So, speaking of that, let's start previewing Super Rugby Round 8. So, it actually starts off with the Highlanders playing host to Moana Pacifica. I don't think a lot of people would have picked this, but the Highlanders are actually below Moana Pacifica on the table with no wins thus far, whereas Moana Pacifica jagging that win against the Canes. Dow, who are you picking in this one?
Moana.
Yes!
I'm
Yes!
inspired.
Woo!
So am I. So am I.
Are we all going Moana Pacifica?
Yeah. 100%.
Oh, man, that is so sick. That is... Let's put that one in the bank. Is that our lock of the week?
Lock
It
of the
is
week.
our lock of the week. We need to get a huge lock so we can bust it out too.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I probably should have told you guys that Johnny was meant to do his Deep in the Cut segment for us to be able to get his tips for this weekend's fixtures, but he's too busy buying bottle service in a ghetto-ass nightclub in downtown Houston. But instead, what we're doing is we're going to have you two go off against it, and whoever loses has to do something sus. Drink some sus shit, do some sus shit, whatever it may be. I didn't want to tell you before we went live, so now it's on the record. It's out there in the interwebs and all that sort of stuff. So choose
Web
wisely,
3.0.
boys, because someone's doing something really hectic next week if they lose. All right, next one, Force versus Rebels. Dos.
Oh, down in Melbourne.
That's in Perth.
Oh, it's in Perth.
Yeah.
All right, it's
Yeah.
in Perth. I think the Rebels last game, they had the bye, and was it the Drua the week before the bye?
Yep.
Yeah, I think
Got their first win.
Yeah, they got their first win, right. And I remember thinking, I was hoping, more hopeful than thinking, it would be a catalyst in terms of turning their season around. They've showed
They had the
potential,
bye.
but I got to go the Force in Perth.
Dal.
I want to say the Force as well.
This isn't very fun.
Yeah.
I'm going the Force too. This is. Come on, man. Just ham it up. Someone picked someone real shit.
Yeah, I'll go rogue soon.
Oh. Oh.
I'll
Are you going to go rogue on this one?
am I-
Canes versus Satyrs in Wellington.
Oh, great game.
Oh, it's going to be a great game. Well, like, is going for the Canes going rogue? Because I'll back the Canes at the cake tin.
Yes, this
There
is
you go.
sick.
There you go.
Really? You're going for the Canes?
Yeah.
Dow?
Crusaders.
Oh, there we go.
There. You got your
All
wish,
right.
J-Ball.
Yes. I'm writing this down. I'll forget it next week. No, really. So why are you going for the Canes then?
Oh,
and
I
not
ju-
just for being silly buggers?
No, I think heartbreaking the way they lost last week to the Chiefs. Look, I haven't even looked at the team list. I'm hoping it's somewhat the same because they've got good players within their pack. Artie Sarve will step up.
Let's get him on the show next week, by the way.
Yeah, Tino, if you're listening, let's get him on. I like the 7, Criffy Duplessis.
Love him.
I reckon he's gone. Geordie Barrett. If they
TJ Pedonaro actually he's now the leading try scorer for the Canes
Yeah,
in Super Rugby as well. I
TJ.
think he's like 8th all time.
Three off the top.
That is
There you go.
ridiculous, man.
Crazy.
That is ridiculous for a halfback of all people, too.
Yep, mate, just supporting up the middle, he's scoring tries all day,
Yeah.
especially in a team like the Hurricanes who make lots of breaks out wide. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just, it's more, the safer bet is to go the Crusaders, but, you just want something different to happen every week, so I'll go the Canes.
Dow, why the Satyrs? Because they're the Satyrs.
They're bouncing back. Do you know what I mean? They've had a bit of
yeah.
a slow start to the year. I mean, they're starting to find their form now. They'll start to hit a gear, and we talked about they're not untouchable anymore, but they're still a real class outfit.
Yeah.
They're coached really well. They've got some quality players. I think they'll really start to drive it home over the next couple of weeks.
And Richie missed those first few weeks of the season too, so him coming back is going to be absolutely massive. This one's going to be a corker too. The Chiefs versus the Blues. Chiefs playing host to the Blues in Waikato as well. Dos.
Ooh, that is... Bowden Barrett's back this week too, isn't he? Perifetta at the back. Bryce Heem at 12. I'll go the Blues.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'll go the Blues at Waikato. I mean,
Blues.
they look so good. They look so good.
Chiefs aren't too bad either, man.
Yeah, I'm going Chiefs.
Yes, there we go.
Home ground
There we
advantage.
That's it.
That'd be a cracker of a game.
It's going to be a belter of a game.
Yeah.
Oh,
absolute
that'll be
belter.
so sick. It'll
Yeah.
be attacking Rugby City, man. It
Yep.
will be going off like a frog in a sock, man.
And good to see the Chiefs moving Nankerville off the wing.
I love it. Mate, Alex Nankiville's been so good for so long, but he's just that underrated sort of white
Yeah.
boy. But, man, he has been awesome this year. I think it's because he's got that mullet rocking. But he's been absolutely red hot. In a Chiefs side that have so many attacking weapons,
Yep.
he's been so strong.
No Josh Ioane this week too, Dal. Bryn Gatlin playing at 10.
Joshua injured.
He must be because he wasn't on the bench either.
Yeah, right. Bryn
Oof.
Gatlin's a class out there.
He is
Right.
good. He is good.
Loose. There we go. Look at this. How's this dialogue? This is a great show. Fiji and Drua versus the Brumbies at Scuncorp Stadium as well, of all places.
It's hard to go past the Brumbies.
Yeah, I'd love to
You
go.
loser!
I would
no
love-
way. Fiji all the way.
I'd love to go rogue again and pick
Look at the side
Ndrua.
the Brumbies have picked. Like, they're blooding some
Yeah.
youngsters. They're not like...
I mean, if there's a game, if there's ever a game where Fiji and Drua are going to beat the Brumbies, it's this weekend.
Suncorp
Neutral
will be
territory.
absolutely
Well,
heaving.
not even neutral territory. There's going to be way more Fijians than Brumbies supporters.
Yeah.
But yeah, the structure that the Brumbies bring to the game, I think, is just going to put a cold, wet blanket on the Fijian flair.
You're killing me, Doss.
I know, mate, and it pains me to say that, but sometimes logic has just got to prevail.
The
over.
Pack Show is not born on logic or facts. We've discussed
I'm quickly
this.
finding that
Yeah,
out.
man. It is. That'll be written on my tombstone. All right. Well, that rounds out Super Rugby Round 8. Now let's look forward to Super W this weekend. Unfortunately, tomorrow night's game, I think it was the Force versus the Rebels, has been postponed or whatever it may be as a result of, I assume, COVID. But we've still got some absolute corkers lined up. In particular, Tars versus Reds. This is the pinnacle of women's rugby in Australia. Like, always has been, probably always will be. We know Fijiana are absolutely red hot, but this is like this is typically a bloodbath of a game. Who you picking here, Dos?
Man, I would just love to see the Waratahs women lose 2 games in a row. So I'm going to go the Reds.
Yes! Yes! Then you go and do something like this and totally redeem yourself. Dow?
Yeah, we'd love to see, obviously, the Reds get up, but I'm going...
Oh.
Dallin, he's so boring, man.
I'm going with my head and back in the Waratahs.
Look at you. Doesn't want to drink a warm Tun Lager on the show next week. You
Tun
coward.
Lager, mate. Don't you dare knock Tun Lager. It is delicious.
Warm?
Yeah, fantastic.
What
It's
is
like a
You
Tun
cola.
are a
Lager?
kook, man.
What am I
You're a
missing out
weirdo.
on? What am I missing out on?
It's like this. Is it German? I think it is German.
It's horrific, bro.
It's awesome. It's like $28 a carton.
Why do you think
For a
I...
pack of 30.
Yeah.
Why do you think I stopped drinking?
I bet you Nick Frisbee has them weekly.
Nah, he's a gold.
At that price point,
He's a gold.
when he
man.
wants to change
Yeah.
up from a mango, he'll
I
go
reckon
one of these.
they
Surely
test his
Frizz.
blood and his blood
Surely
type is
Frizz.
ton. Mate, yeah, he's a loose unit. Let's get Pickle on here too.
Yeah,
mate.
100%.
I tried to get him on tonight, but he was busy.
Oh.
But he said in the coming weeks, he's keen as mustard. I reckon we get him on the couch.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get him in
100%.
studio.
Get
Yeah.
a beer sponsor too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, but
as
it
soon
won't
as we
matter.
lock that in,
But it
there's
won't
a good
matter
chance
who we
Pickle will be
get.
here too.
We'll have to get 4X to get him on the show.
That's true. Maybe we'll just wrap a Tun Lager in a gold can stubby cooler or something. And then last one, Fijiana versus the Brumbies. You can't go past Fijiana.
No
You
way.
can't,
They're
no.
unbeatable, mate.
As well as the Brumbies have progressed, we saw them a few weeks ago only just go down to not just the Reds but also the Tars in very good games of footy. That Brumbies Super W side is really coming along, and I think that's testament to the entire Super W comp that, like, all 5 clubs, 6 clubs are starting to really progress really well. So, well, that rounds out Super W. That rounds out tonight's episode of the PAC Show 2.0. It took us 2 turns, but I think we ended up nailing it. Anyone?
Crushed
Anyone?
it. That was
Crushed
good.
it.
That Moana piece was beautiful.
That was great.
wasn't it?
Outstanding, yeah.
Yeah, how good. BJ messaged me and he said he absolutely loved it, so that was great. So now we know BJ can come back, give us a bit of a rundown when it comes to Shoot Shield. Dos, Dallin, thanks very much for joining us.
Always a pleasure, J-Ball.
Zachy Boy behind the 1s and 2s, absolutely running the show like an absolute professional that he is. Everyone here at DoubleTake Studios, everyone for tuning in, thank you so much. Be sure to tune in Monday night, like and subscribe, all that shit. Give us a follow on Instagram where we're going to be putting up all our snippets. And also remember to tune in to Stan and watch all the Shoot Shield action, all the Super W, all the Super Rugby, and then in 2 weeks' time, finally, we're going to have ourselves a little bit of Queensland Premier Rugby football too. But remember as well, we've got the WA Fortescue Premier Grade competition on there as well, Japanese League One, whatever it is. Tune in, have fun, stay safe over the weekend, and we'll see you Monday night. Yo-yo ma.